gonna wait out here, okay? It's a big house. It's funny that I only ever see two of you. It's almost like the studio couldn't afford another X-Man.
Hello and welcome once again to the Cine-Files, where we are continuing our exploration of Deadpool. My name is Steve Morris. I'm a filmmaker and directing instructor in Los Angeles, California.
Maximum effort. Hello, everyone. My name is John Rocha. I'm a writer, producer, host, and voiceover artist here in San Diego, California. I guess I should say critic. You know, I don't say critic enough when I do these kinds of things, but I guess I should say that. I'm trying to embrace that a little bit more. But yes, excited.
Do you have secret shame about criticism? I mean, is there
Sometimes
something
I do.
we need to discuss?
I think there's always been a sense of like, what do they call that? What do the actors call it when they think they're going to get found out? Like, it's just that kind of thing.
Oh, imposter syndrome?
Imposter syndrome. Yes, because I'm not Roger Ebert. Yet, but I am.
But no one
qualified. Yeah, I was right. I've qualified for a number of critics organizations. I get invited to review this stuff. And so, yes, I am a critic. It's just that I have issues with saying it about myself because I do still get myself caught up with feeling like, well, I'm not Peter Travers or Owen Gleiberman or Roger Ebert. But I think my opinions have validity and people watch them. So I will say that.
100%. I mean, it's like, is Shannon McClung not an actor because he's not Tom Cruise or Tom Hanks or Ryan Gosling?
I guess that's fair. Right.
I mean, like, yeah, there
He's
are
such a good actor.
He's a fantastic actor, and you're a great critic. I think the jury has come back in. The verdict is that you can call yourself critic. There is should be no imposter syndrome.
I appreciate that very much. Please tell my YouTube comment thread that. I would appreciate that.
I will not talk to your YouTube comment thread. I'm your friend, but I'm not stupid.
That's a fair point. Anyway, we're here to talk about Deadpool, not me.
Yes, we were, but we also should say that we could not be making this show without our incredible supporters on Patreon as well as Apple Podcasts. Thank you. And if you're interested in ad-free versions of the show to listen to our Cine-Files shorts or join the Cine-Files advisory board, you can check those out at patreon.com/the-Cine-Files.
Absolutely. Another way you can support us as well, and you guys know this who've listened to the show long enough now, is the sponsors who sponsor our show and offer great discounts and great products and services through the code that you can use that is connected to the Cine-Files. If you listen to us on the non-ad free version, which is the ads are in the audio, you'll hear those codes, you'll hear those products and services, and we'd love it if you all tried them out if they appeal to you. Right now, we've got running Quince and BetterHelp. We're going to be having True Diagnostic and Hims coming soon very well as well. So there's a lot of great people and great companies who have sponsored us over the last year or so. And so please, if you feel like you can try out those products and services, use our codes so you can save some money and let us know how it goes.
Absolutely. So where we left off, we were having the most lovely, romantic, also sexy, and funny love story going on between Vanessa and Wade. And then we got hit with the world's worst news, which is a cancer diagnosis. And that is where we left off with them in the doctor's office. And we cut from there right back to our fight scene, our action sequence with Deadpool with his swords through this guy that he's suspending above him. And he pulls those swords apart, and that is it for that guy.
Now, if I were a 200-pound sack of assholes named Francis, where would I hide?
We hear the motorcycle, we turn, and there we see Ajax going by. He chases after him, of course, with some cool jumping, spinning moves, throws the sword in the wheel. The motorcycle crashes into a car.
A hush falls over the crowd as rookie sensation Wade W. Wilson out of Regina, Saskatchewan lines up the shot. His form looks good.
And he kicks him in the helmet.
Oh, and that's why Regina rhymes with fun.
He's a proud Canadian, Steve. He weaves in a lot of Canadian references in this movie.
And the thing is, Francis, Ajax, doesn't know who he is. And then he pulls off a little bit of his mask.
How about now?
Wade fucking Wilson. Well, hello, gorgeous.
Yeah, like I got bit by a radioactive Shar-Pei.
The jokes about his appearance are going to go on and on and on.
I think it's smart script work as well in filmmaking, because you want to make the audience comfortable with his looks. And so if everybody's making fun of his looks or commenting on his looks, the audience isn't necessarily caught up with reacting to his looks.
And this is part of the plot is that Wade has been convinced, because Ajax said that he could cure him of this thing, which,
Yes.
I mean, I think we think from the beginning is bullshit. And obviously Wade's going to find out later that it is. And I love the moment because, we introduced Colossus and Negasonic Teenage Warhead earlier, that we see Colossus appearing right behind Wade just as he's about to give Ajax the beatdown. And he goes, now I'm going to do to you what Limp Bizkit did to music in the late 90s. I have no opinion on the Limp Bizkit joke. I didn't listen to them in the late 90s. I don't know what they did. So,
okay. It was some interesting angry rock. Yeah, for sure.
And he swings back to give Ajax a big punch, and his fist runs into a very metal crotch.
I'm about to do to you what Limp Bizkit did to music in the late 90s. Dad?
Oh, God.
He gets tossed in slow-mo, and as he's flying...
I think we can all agree that shit just went sideways in the most colossal way.
Hey-o.
And then, again, we're going to cut out of this fight scene. And here's something I want to point out is there's so many ways that Ryan and the writers and Tim Miller were brilliant about budget. This is one of them. Because if you think about your average action movie or superhero movie, you're going to have several action set pieces scattered throughout the movie. You don't want to go more than 15 or 20 minutes without having a new fight scene. The problem is every time you have a new action set piece, you have to have a new set, you have to have new characters, you have to have new outfits, you have to have new choreography. And if it's a good one, you kind of have to have a new concept, like a new idea. It's not just people fight, it's how do they fight and what do they do?
Right.
What they did was they stretched one fight scene that we're going to go in and out of for the first 45 minutes of the movie.
Yeah. Amazing how they did that.
Yeah. It's one set. It's all the same characters. You don't have to redress anything. We just keep coming back to it and get a little bit more action without spending more money.
Exactly. Yeah.
Super smart. So we cut out from that to the action figure of Deadpool from Wolverine Origins.
Yeah.
Which I think is a great cut, a great little reference. And we go from that to...
This is my most prized possession.
Wham.
No. Wham! Make It Big is the album that George and Andy earned the exclamation point.
What's your feelings on Wham! Make It Big?
Oh, it was huge when I was in high school.
Yeah.
I never had the album, but I certainly heard a ton of Wham! Did you have this album?
Oh, I had this cassette that I played endlessly. I mean, Wake Me Up Before You Go is the song that made them global superstars, right? But I mean, Everything She Wants is great on the album. And even the quieter ones that didn't get released as hits, I think Heartbeat and Credit Card Baby, If You Were There, those are great songs. But then you have Freedom and you have Careless Whisper, which really was George Michael's masterpiece before he fully went solo. So yeah, this was the album that kind of announced them, but also kind of was the end of Wham! In interesting ways. Yeah.
You know what's funny is, so I say, obviously I was not listening to a ton of music in the 90s, but in the 80s I definitely was. But the gang that I hung out with were anti-pop. So I listened to the Specials, I listened to Madness, ska, reggae, I listened to the Violent Femmes were huge.
Yeah.
Like those were the things. So that was kind of anti-Wham, anti-Duran Duran, like the things that were bigger pop songs, my group of friends were not listening to because that wasn't cool.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that I don't think it was good music. It was that it's that dividing line of like, are you cool or not thing,
Yeah. I think movies and music are where, like, for me, and I liked it all. I liked it all. I mean, the limit was like thrash metal or like Iron Maiden was, I mean, that was about the limit to where I got to was Iron Maiden. I couldn't go, like, I had a friend who used to play me Metal Church back in the 80s, and it's like, that was a little too far for me. So I could go far out into the heavy metal side. And then I was a big soft rock guy. So like I had everything in between I loved and enjoyed. Now, did I play any of it loudly for people to hear? Not always, because that would get your ass kicked. But there were certain things that I was into, and Wham! I was definitely into. I kind of love that. And I guess just recognizing George Michael's voice, So
it's a great voice. Well, I think you were more open to stuff than I think I was at that age in high school. That's what it sounds like.
Well, open, but like not open. You know what
No,
I'm saying?
not
Like
no.
behind
In
the
the
scenes.
closet. You were in the closet,
yes.
but in that closet, you were exploring musicals and all sorts of great stuff.
Yes,
Yeah.
which drove my macho father, insane. Yes, yes, very true.
Yeah, I was because I loved musicals and I loved oldies. But I was also so insecure and shy that I was like, I want people to think I'm cool, and so I was in the closet too. I mean, I think that's really the reality. Is we were both in the closet.
For sure.
Anyway, Wade is not in the closet about his love for Wham. In fact, it's very important that you say it the right way. And the thing is, what he's doing is packing up.
Am I supposed to just smile and wave you out the door?
Think of it like spring cleaning, only if spring was death. God, if I had a nickel for every time I spanked it to Bernadette Peters.
The joke took me a second because it was like, finally you go like, oh, he's got a Bernadette Peters coin purse. By the way, I love Bernadette Peters, and I respect. Honestly, respect is how I feel.
I'm in the Bernadette Peters Spank Club for sure.
Sure.
I mean, she was a hottie back in the 80s.
She was.
Well, and she was hottie for years, and not just in the 80s. But yeah.
I saw her perform live 2 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And she was still a hottie for 70 or however old she is now. But the thing is they had to go to Bernadette Peters and get her approval to use her image along with this joke.
Oh, wow.
And I think Ryan Reynolds actually called her up to ask, and she said, sure.
Yeah, I'm sure she loved it. Yeah.
Bernadette is not going anywhere because you're not going anywhere.
You're right. Cancer's only in my liver, lungs, prostate, and brain. All things I can live without. Oh.
You belong here at home, surrounded by your Voltron and your Bernadette and your me.
It's great. She's so great. And it's such a great love story.
We both know that cancer is a shit show. Like a Yakov Smirnoff opening for the spin doctors at the Iowa State Fair. Shit show. And under no circumstances will I take you to that show.
For you kids, Yakov Smirnoff was a Russian comic in the 80s that always made the joke about how things were backwards in Russia compared to the United States. So yeah, for those who don't know that. And spin doctors, I don't think I need to explain that. So.
You don't need to give an intro for spin doctors?
I don't think so.
What I love about what's so great about Wade's character is for how violent and sarcastic and totally uncensored he is. He's a good guy, at least in this relationship, you know?
Yeah, I agree, 100%. Yeah, he's never been more open, right? I imagine, than in this relationship. And so he's letting all the vulnerability out.
I want you to remember me, not the ghost of Christmas me.
Well, I want to remember us.
I swear to God, I will find you in the next life, and I'm gonna boombox Careless Whisper outside your window. Wham!
No one is boomboxing shit, okay? Besides, I just realized something. You win. Your life is officially way more fucked up than mine.
And they say, I love you, and they kiss, and we get the sense that she's convinced him to stay with him.
Yeah.
Cut to back to the bar where Weasel is there.
Looks like you need a blowjob and a shower. No courtesy calls for the latter first.
How about 3 shots of Patron?
Or how about triticum, wheatgrass, excellent for the immune system.
Jesus Christ, you sound like Vanessa.
So obviously Vanessa has gotten to Weasel.
Yeah.
And Wade has a handful of brochures for all the, under the radar possible wacky medical treatments for cancer, which is a bunch of deleted scenes, by the way, where they actually do go to Mexico. They do. And there's like essentially a con artist, witch doctor that they're going to see that Wade exposes and protects some people that are, and it's all good, but it's totally good that they cut it out of the movie.
Yeah.
And that guy over there came in looking for you. Real Grim Reaper type.
And he goes to the booth, and there is Jed Reese, who plays the recruiter.
Yeah, I mean, I know Jed Reese from Galaxy Quest. That's really the big thing as Tab. He's so great in that movie. Of great actors in that movie, he is really a lot of fun. But yeah, worked for a number of years, a number of TV shows, The X-Files, The Sentinel, 21 Jump Street, The Ringer, CSI, so many things, Pretty Little Liars. all over. And Resident Alien, even recently, last year, one of my quietly favorite shows from Alan Tudyk. If you haven't watched Resident Alien and you want a feel-good, funny sci-fi show, I highly recommend that show for sure for everybody.
The thing that's amazing to me is the character he plays in Galaxy Quest is as positive and likable a character as you can imagine. And he, with the same face, can play what that Wade just nails him as a creep child molester who's evil and horrible. And you go, which is just more proof that, like, no, actors are not just one thing. They actually become different things. That's part of being an actor.
Yeah,
you know,
and especially being a character actor, for sure.
Yeah, that's what you have to do. And we find out that he already knows that Wade has cancer.
I'm sorry you've had such a tough go.
I think one of the things he does really well is fake sympathy.
Yes.
Making it sound, saying the words and sounds like he's being sympathetic, but having it be transparent and phony. That's really good acting.
Well, he's a recruiter. How do you recruit really well and be good at your job? You convince people that you care. Just like the dude from the Squid Game shows, the guy who recruits those people to be a part of it.
Right.
So,
What if I told you we can cure your cancer? And what's more, give you abilities most men only dream of.
We know what movie we're watching. It's like, okay, here's the superhero origin story. Like this is the turn for that. Wade's not buying any of it.
I'd say that you sound like an infomercial, but not a good one, like Slap Chop. More Shake Weighty.
Shake Weighty's got to be one of the dumbest infomercials that ever was on TV.
Look, Agent Smith, I tried the hero business and it left a mark. But if I ever hit fuck it, I'll look you up.
So he's saying no to this guy. But as he walks away, you can see that he's thinking about it.
Yeah.
They cut to he's back at his place with Vanessa. He's looking out the window. There's a storm. The camera is pushing in on him. And I think I have no evidence that this is actually an important moment in terms of the relationship with Ryan Reynolds and Tim Miller, the director. But it feels to me like it could be. And I'm not, so take this with all the grains of salt. I'm not saying this because I've heard it's a fact. But I know this thing happened. But whether or not that's an issue with him and Tim, I don't know. But they're doing the scene and Ryan is being very emotional. And then he comes over to look at the monitor after and goes, "It's too dark." And Tim goes, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "I've been crying, like tears streaming down his face. And you couldn't see it because it wasn't light." And Tim Miller goes, "You were crying?" That to me,
oof.
That to me is, and like I said, I don't know that this is anything important, but to me, that is a special effects director who's an expert in all of this stuff, but not necessarily an expert with working with actors, really not understanding what's going on for an actor.
It's a feature film debut. So, you're going to have some missteps. But I also think, I mean, the character is the character, but these moments are at times a bit, how can I say this? The tone is unusual. Like these, sitting there crying when he's been this sarcastic, smart-assy guy, the moments when he gets like really deeply emotional at times feel out of step with the movie. And I think this is one of those moments for me. Now, it's probably not true for everybody who watches the movie, but for me, I'm like, why are we getting really serious? Like, just seemed like kind of odd at times when he chooses to do it. So that being said, though, I do agree with you. The director has to respect the actor's process. And if he's doing something, to not even know that he's doing it is a real big mistake on the director.
Yeah. Well, it's funny, though, because when we started, you said that one of the reasons that you like Deadpool more than either of the sequels is the heart and the relationship and the emotional part. And so, like, I agree with you. Deadpool is a crazy balance of tones.
Yes.
I mean, it is.
Yeah.
And so, this is that moment, the really super sad, heartfelt stuff, like also with the cancer diagnosis. Those are outliers. They work for me, but but the tone is so all over the place that I can see it throwing people off too.
Well, and the Vanessa cancer one, that works well because they still have their little kind of sarcastic back and forth about it. But in this one, when he's all by himself crying and stuff, I just don't know what the logic was on Ryan's point of view to have it this way. Maybe as an actor, it was a little bit like, I can do this kind of stuff. Because remember, Ryan didn't do much drama before this movie. So maybe this was Ryan also as an actor going like, I want to be able to show that I can do this color if I need to. which I think is fair.
And then he's packing up because he's going to leave her.
The worst part about cancer isn't what it does to you, but what it does to the people you love. Who knew if this guy could save my life? But I knew there was only one way that I could save hers. Isn't that what superheroes do?
I think that he is wrong.
Yeah.
Making the wrong choice.
Right.
But I think he is making the wrong choice for the right reasons.
Yeah.
And now, again, we go back to that fight. Right where we left it with getting thrown by Colossus.
This is a shameful and reckless use of your powers. You will both be coming with us.
Look, Colossus, I don't have time for the goody two-shoes bullshit right now. And you are...
Negasonic Teenage Warhead.
Negasonic Teenage... What the shit? That's the coolest name ever!
Does Deadpool think that's the coolest name ever?
Oh, I do think so. Yes, 100%. Because
I
it
think
is the
so,
coolest
too.
name ever.
It is. Well, this is because the thing we talk about Deadpool being sarcastic and insulting and all of those things.
Yeah.
Deadpool is also an enthusiast.
Yes.
He loves Wham. He does love Bernadette Peters, and he loves this name. Part of I think the negativity only works because he is so enthusiastic about the things that he loves.
Yes. That's part of the charm of him, is the balance of that. Yeah, agreed. Yeah.
And he's still punching Ajax through this whole time.
Can we go?
When Deadpool walks back towards her, you can totally see Ryan Reynolds acting through the suit. You know what I mean? Yes. Like he puts on a whole, because you can't see his face, so he's got to put on a whole physical performance.
Look, I'm a teenage girl. I'd rather be anywhere than here. I'm all about long, sullen silences, followed by mean comments, followed by more silences. So what's it gonna be, huh? Long, sullen silence or mean comment? Go on.
You got me in a box here.
You got me in a box here is one of my favorite jokes in the movie.
Oh, yeah.
It really is.
Oh, yeah. And his reaction, like, I know it. Yeah, it's great. Yeah.
That's awesome. Colossus is still trying to get him to come with them. Deadpool calls him a big chrome cock gobbler. You know what's so funny? It's like, I didn't know that we wanted this. Like that we wanted a superhero who is an insider to call bullshit on all the stupid superhero stuff.
Yeah.
But we do.
You really gonna fuck this up for me? Trust me. That wheezing bag of dick tips has it coming. Besides, nobody's getting hurt.
At which point, a bloody corpse falls from the upper deck onto the road.
That guy was already up there when I got here.
The whole conflict is pretty basic. Colossus wants Wade to be a good guy and join the X-Men and be one of them, and he doesn't want to do it. And then Wade has wonderful, charming monologues that I will play for you now.
The day I decided to become a crime-fighting shit-swizzler who rooms with a bunch of other little whiners at the Neverland mansion of some creepy, old, bald, Heaven's Gate-looking motherfucker, on that day, I'll send your shiny happy ass a friend request. But until then, I'm gonna do what I came here to do.
I think he knows he can go this far with Colossus because he knows Colossus is a big guy and a nice guy. So,
and
like, he's not going to hit Wade out of anger or anything. So Wade just lets it all fly, but it means nothing to Colossus because he's kind of, and I don't want to say this in a mean way, but he's a better man than Wade. And so he will deal with Wade's abuse because he knows he's the stronger person and the bigger person, literally and figuratively.
And while we've been distracted by this argument with Colossus and Deadpool, Ajax has gotten away, which Negasonic calls out. He looks around, and Deadpool then does, which I'm going to, again, I'm saying more things I have no evidence of it, but he does a non-upple take, not a double take or a triple take or even the rare quadruple take. Ew. He does 9 takes.
Yeah.
World record? I don't know, but I think Guinness should be looking into this. And now he's just pissed. He goes, that does it. Leaps up, punches Colossus in the face, breaking his hand. And Colossus is reasonably trying to talk him down. Cockshot punches him in the crotch, breaks the other hand, and he's standing there with the 2 floppy hands. So you should really stop. And they go, all dinosaurs feared the T-Rex as he's standing there like that. And you know he's not. This to me is like Bender in The Breakfast Club. He is not. He's going to take more detentions.
Yeah,
he's just going to take them. He does a big kick, and we watch in close up as his foot breaks. I will say Misery style.
Yeah,
right in front of us. It's like
he ankles himself.
Do you have off switch?
Yeah, it's right next to the prostate. Or is that the on switch?
He hits him across the road to slam in a car. And one of the things in this shot, when he slams in the car, one of the things that was important to both Rob Liefeld when they created the character and also as they did it here is that Deadpool is a lot of things, but he's not a big guy.
Mm-hmm.
And so he looks particularly small, obviously next to Colossus. That makes a big difference, but he is not a huge guy. He is small and quirky and weird, you know?
Yeah. Which helps the audience connect to him.
Yeah.
It's smart. Yeah.
Let us go talk to the professor.
McAvoy or Stewart? These timelines are so confusing.
I can't, for those who didn't see this in the theater, I cannot explain how insane it was at the time that these jokes were used in the film, because we had adhered to this idea that you don't mention other people's films and like the other studios' films in your film. That was a big deal. The fact that this film broke all the norms of that was what made it endearing to a lot of people who are hardcore comic book people who follow this stuff or had been watching all these superhero movies. The fact that he was able to say McAvoy or like just genius in the approach there to kind of almost make fun of the whole situation, which is just so smart.
You know what? It's don't talk about the man behind the curtain, you know?
Right.
Like we all know there's this illusion and we're not supposed to mention it. And it's so fun that he mentions them all.
Yes. The fact that he says, or later, he's going to say later, like, don't make the costume green as a Green Lantern reference.
Yeah.
The fact that we saw, just as you mentioned just a few minutes ago, the figurine from the Wolverine movie, like all these things that are taking the piss out of himself. Just smart, very, very smart in the approach, and the piss out of the Fox universe.
Yeah. Well, because honestly, I mean, I make all sorts of jokes about the Cine-Files as we're doing the show. To me, being able to joke about yourself is a sign of strength.
Yes.
You know, it's and a sign of humanity. Like, yeah, of course these movies aren't perfect. We all know they're not perfect. That's fine, you know.
Yep.
Let's talk just a bit about filming Colossus. I think I mentioned before that there are 3 different actors one is the voice, one is doing the facial expressions that they digitally captured, and the other is this actor on the set who is, 6'5". His name is Andre Tricouteau.
Okay.
I'm sure I did not pronounce that correctly, but that was the best that I could do. And he's, a huge guy with a ball about a foot above his head that he's walking around to create this space. But the other thing that they had to do, and I found this really interesting, is that, and this really, I think this is Tim Miller really understanding how effects work. Because one of the things about Colossus, obviously, is that he's made out of metal. And metal responds very differently to light because it has all these different reflective surfaces than other materials. And so what they had to do, in addition to having this guy do all the actions that Colossus will do, and then you also have the actors doing all the actions without that guy there sometimes, so they can have a clean plate. But then they had a dude with basically like a big metal ball on a stick walk through all the positions on the set, moving everywhere the Colossus would move, so they could track the reflection patterns. How was the light playing as it moved through all this space? And that's what makes Colossus look realistic. It's really that second pass with the reflective material to track and these are all the details that unless you've been around effects, you wouldn't know to do,
Yeah. So for maybe the missteps that he makes, like not finding Ryan crying or not getting these are the things where Tim is really shining that make the film work so well when shooting Colossus, for sure. Yeah.
I mean, there is no film without Tim Miller. I don't think.
Yeah.
I don't. It's like whether or not he goes on to be a great director or anything like that. Like the for the budget, everything they packed into this thing and made it look as good as they did. That's Tim Miller and his team.
Yep.
So we're dragging Wade away, who's Colossus is holding him by his wrist.
You ever see 127 Hours? Spoiler alert.
which is great. And he takes a knife out and is hacking off his hand. And then the blood spray across Colossus' face, along with the joke.
Are you there, God? It's me, Margaret.
I mean, it's really going there, that joke.
Oh, that joke. Oh, like when I remember just absolutely laughing loudly at that joke because of just what it's referencing. Just genius.
The horribleness of, but that's what's great. I mean, it goes there and it's funny.
Yeah.
And cuts off his hand, does a backflip off the overpass, landing in a garbage-filled pickup truck bed. The severed hand left in Colossus's hand is flipping Colossus off. That was, by the way, a Ryan Reynolds idea.
Smart. Yeah.
It's great. It's absolutely great.
Rock, meat, bottom.
We're now 40 minutes into the movie, and we have just finished the first fight scene.
Wow.
I mean, that's crazy in the way that they structured this.
When life ends up breathtakingly fucked, you can generally trace it back to one big bad decision.
We're back with Wade, and he is getting rolled in on a gurney by the recruiter.
Nothing warms my heart more than a change of someone else's. You finally hit fuck it.
And I think Wade, in one of the few sincere to these people kind of moments, is like, look, I have this, I'm trying to keep a promise to someone, like he's actually is begging to be treated right to some degree. And they roll him into the quote unquote lab. And again, I think this is the thing the movie does really well, which is all superhero movies on some level are slick. Is that it's like whether you have the super slick world of the Avengers and S.H.I.E.L.D. or the beautiful world of Wakanda or the Shang-Chi world, or even like the gritty Gotham world of Dark Knight. Yeah. It still is beautifully designed and has a slickness to it.
Yeah.
He's going to a shithole,
Yes.
Deadpool is not trying to do that. It is not trying to compete in that area. And this place is gross. And of course, Wade's joking through this whole thing as they put him on different gurneys. And then he keeps talking and his hand gets slammed down and his head gets slammed down by Gina Carano, who is playing Angel Dust.
Yeah. This is one of the first kind of acting roles that Gina Carano was in. And this was right at the apex of her as a MMA fighter. She competed in Elite Extreme Combat Strike Force from 2016 to 2009. She was 7-1 as a fighter. She became the, quote, face of women's MMA before Ronda Rousey came around. And then, which, of course, Gina always rejected that title. And then she headlined one of the big women's MMA fights, which was her fight against Chris Cyborg in 2009, which she was completely destroyed by Cyborg. There were allegations around that. But that kind of stopped her doing MMA. And then she got into acting. And that's when you saw her in like Soderbergh's Haywire, this film. And then eventually ended up all the way on, The Mandalorian. There's Cara Dune. So, yes, a complicated person in a lot of ways. Certainly a divisive person in a lot of ways. A lot of supporters and a lot of people, a lot of detractors. And now she's about to headline a Netflix bout with Ronda Rousey on Netflix there, I think, in about a month. So, yeah, an interesting woman in a lot of ways. Also part of American Gladiators. And, of course, very attractive as well. So, yeah.
I think in this movie, she's great.
Yes, they limit her dialogue. You rarely see her speaking on screen, even when she speaks, but they make good use of her as a fighter and as an intimidating presence. Yeah, for sure, Steve. You're right.
And my understanding is that Tim Miller met Gina Carano through Rob Liefeld. They were friends. And he introduced them. And she was really uncomfortable with playing a bad guy and didn't want to do it. And then they finally convinced her to do it. It's so strange to me. It's like, why wouldn't you want to play a bad guy? Playing a bad guy seems awesome. I would love to play bad guy.
What's up with the matches? Oral fixation? Or just a big Stallone fan?
And they're trying to shut him up. And there we see Ajax, and Wade just keeps on joking. And he goes,
we have another tool gun.
I'm just excited about my first day of superhero camp.
Shut the fuck up.
And then we get a bad guy speech from Ajax, which I could play, but I will just summarize, which is that they're going to inject some serum into him that will activate under torture, and his latent mutation will appear and give him superpowers. So we're going to torture him until he becomes a superhero. And what we hear is that's how Angel became super strong, and that's how he got enhanced reflexes and scorched all his nerve endings so he no longer feels pain.
And in fact, I no longer feel anything.
Which is a scary villain. I mean, I'm not putting Ajax up on a list of any of my favorite, Marvel villains or anything, but he serves his purpose well in this movie, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
And we see Wade struggling to talk. He seems almost like emotional, like maybe this speech about him being tortured has given him second thoughts and he's afraid. And so he gestures to take out the gag, which they do. And he says, thank you.
Thank you. You have something in your teeth.
Right in the middle there, just, a little nugget of romaine lettuce or something. It's been bothering me for a long time.
And then he looks and he literally does a made you look.
Yeah.
And then we get what's going to be obviously a running joke throughout this whole thing.
Hey, is Ajax your actual name? Because it sounds suspiciously made up. What is it really? Kevin? Bruce? Scott? Mitch? The Rickster? Is it Basil Fawlty?
I joke away. One thing that never survives this place is a sense of humor.
We'll see about that.
I actually think this is a defining... yes, obviously humor is a defining characteristic of Deadpool, but I think this is like for Wade Wilson, I refuse to lose my sense of humor regardless of anything.
Yeah.
It's like what keeps Rocky going. You know what I mean? Like this is the thing that keeps him fighting, I think.
Right. Earlier in the film, when they're exchanging trauma stories between him and Vanessa, like, the thing is with people, when they're born in those kinds of situations, they develop a defense mechanism. Some people develop a reactionary, angry defense system that leads to violence or leads to physical altercation or threatening moments. His was humor. And the only way he can navigate any situation where he feels uncomfortable or unsettled is to use that humor. And if you were to remove that humor, you would essentially deconstruct him as a human being all the way down to his core. And so that's why he relies on it so well and steadfastly holds on to it no matter what.
I mean, I'm not Wade Wilson, but I can't not make jokes, in serious situations.
We know.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I'm not even saying they're all funny. Frequently they're not.
Yes.
Yes. Anyway.
He's all yours.
Oh, come on. You gonna leave me all alone here with less angry Rosie O'Donnell?
They punch him in the face and knock him out. And then we go into a torture montage that involves slime and hoses and ice baths and electricity, all sorts of stuff.
I call this the Fear Factor montage.
Yeah, and by the way, this was not fun for Ryan Reynolds. Like,
oh, really?
Particularly, yeah. I mean, he was. I don't know if there was actually ice in the bath or it was fake ice. It might have been fake ice, but they did spray him with hoses. They didn't electrocute him, but they did dunk him into this big bath of disgusting slime. I mean, this is not. You have to do multiple takes of this stuff. It's not fun. But what makes it perfect is the musical accompaniment of Mr. Sandman. It's just perfect.
Which is great.
And it's after we have a little break in the torture, and he's with a fellow torturee, which is Hugh, played by David Cunningham, and they're having their bucket list conversation.
I'd really like to light a spliff off the Olympic torch.
Pass it to me right after.
Let's not forget naked tandem base jumping with the WNBA's Sacramento Monarchs.
Jokes are always better when they're specific. It's like the joke could be with a WNBA team, but the WNBA San Diego Monarchs is funnier for the joke. And I love that Hugh's response is,
anything on my bucket list would involve public nudity.
and then it takes a turn because Hugh says making banana pancakes for my kids, and Wade says Vanessa. And right as they're having this tender moment, there's Ajax.
Hey, don't take any shit from him, Cunningham. How tough can he be? With a name like Francis.
Apparently, Wade snagged a dry cleaning tag to find his name.
Why don't you do us all a favor and shut the fuck up? Or I'll sew your pretty mouth shut.
Sewing the pretty mouth shut is another Wolverine Origins reference.
Yes.
And then Wade says a stupid thing.
See, here's the problem with round-the-clock torture is that You can't really step it up from there.
Is that what you think?
And now they are strapping him into the tube. This tube was known as the punch bowl by the crew. And this is the second most expensive thing built for the movie. The most expensive thing was the Deadpool costume, which obviously took weeks of research and figuring it out. But this was really expensive, which really surprises me that they spent so much on this prop or set piece.
Yeah.
And again, I won't give his whole speech, but basically what they're going to do sounds like a horrible torture, which he's going to be strapped into this tube. They're going to reduce the oxygen level to just the point where he's going to pass out. And as his brain starts to shut down, they'll feed in just enough oxygen to keep him awake, but not enough for him to be okay. That's a horrible, horrible torture.
Yeah. Agreed.
And then he adds to it the psychological torture, which is the truth about this workshop.
This workshop doesn't make superheroes. We make super slaves.
And what we find out is that as soon as he has powers, they're going to strap a collar onto him and force him to do horrible things.
Terrorizing citizens, putting down freedom fighters. Maybe just mow the occasional lawn.
And I think this does hit him.
100%.
This is like, because he had, I think he had held on to an impossible fantasy that there was some way that this was going to work out. And it was a fantasy, and the reality is terrible. And Wade says,
Wait. Seriously? You actually have something in your teeth now.
Enjoy your weekend.
Weekend? Back up. Weekend?
And the air goes down, and we see him start to gasp.
That's brutal.
It's totally brutal. I mean, I think this is a horrible sounding torture, as opposed to all the other ones that sound fantastic.
Exactly. Real easy.
And we see him gasping, and now we see the change, which is we see things happening to his skin. It looks really nasty.
Did I say this was a love story? No. It's a horror movie.
By the way, Bill Corso is the makeup supervisor. And again, this was lots of testing, very uncomfortable for Ryan Reynolds. I think for the full makeup, like the full body is like 7 hours.
Oof.
You know, when they did that, that's because you have to do 7 hours in a chair and then you have to act all day, you know?
Yeah.
And we go to black as Wade screams, and then they open up the tube.
What have you done to me? I've merely raised your stress levels high enough to trigger a mutation. You sadistic fuck! I've cured you, Wade.
What I wonder, and I don't know the character of Ajax from the comics. I know he exists in the comics. I didn't see anything about this. But their implication here is that this is Ajax's experiment. Like that he's a doctor or something.
Yeah.
But I don't think he is. I think he's just a thug that they did this to, who they've assigned to torture other people.
Oh, 100%. I don't think this is his thing at all. I think he, like they said, like he became this thing through the first torture. And then they were like, well, let's put him in charge of these things because he became one, you know, and he's sadistic enough and doesn't care about the people he kills.
Well, and he's talking up himself as if he's like a scientist or a doctor.
Yeah.
Just to add one more level of intimidation and power, you know?
And mindfuckery.
Now I'm going to shut you in again, Wade. Not because I need to. Because I want to.
And you see that affect Wade. He just went through this for a whole weekend, and now he's going to get shut in there again. And as Angel leans in to kind of strap him down, he headbutts her. And Ajax pulls Angel off of him. She walks away. We see her put a match in her mouth.
Yeah.
And Ajax leans down and says,
quick question. What's my name?
And Wade doesn't say anything. And Ajax feels like he's finally won, that he's finally intimidated this guy. Closes the tubing on him, walks away. The air comes out. He starts gasping. But as he opens his mouth, we see that he stole Angel's match and has it in his mouth. By the way, and I'm sitting there going, how did you keep the match dry in your mouth? That seems very difficult. But somehow he manages to. He obviously, with his Deadpool powers, I think he spits the match to his hand, catches it. That seems difficult. Lights it, puts it near the vent where there's almost no oxygen, So why this burst into flames? Again, physics, maybe not the best, but it's totally dramatic. Huge explosion of flames. Tube goes flying. Lab is burning. Ajax comes running in with a fire extinguisher, sees the broken tube, and now Wade, wearing nothing but like his gown, comes out, and they have a brutal fire extinguisher to fire extinguisher battle that I think is pretty cool within the fire. This was, again, really rough on Ryan Reynolds because he is covered in makeup in an extremely hot room because there's fire everywhere. And also where there's fire, even though they have ventilation and stuff, there is smoke, there's fake smoke. He is sweating underneath this prosthetic. And when they rip off the thing and he fights full naked, I mean, that is full body makeup having to do fight choreography, sweating and goopy and sticky in a hot room. This is nasty. It's nasty. It's hard. You know,
you want to be a superstar, ladies and gentlemen. You want to be a movie star. This is some of the prices you have to pay for that status.
And I'm going to say worth it, but I do think that people should understand that this isn't so fun.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
There may or may not be additional prosthetics when Ryan Reynolds is entirely naked that you may or may not catch glimpses of as they're fighting. I'm just saying.
Yeah. It's very long.
Yeah, it is a long fight scene.
Yeah, it is a long fight scene.
Yeah, very
long.
long.
It drags on the floor.
Yeah, I mean, we could extend this joke if we wanted to, but
for sure. Hey, oh, yes.
You don't want to kill me. I'm the only one who can fix your ugly mug.
More fighting, and finally he tosses Wade. Ajax advances on him, grabs a big metal thing of rebar, drives it through him, impaling him, punches him, bends the rebar into a hook, leans in and says,
"What's my name?"
And we also see Cunningham, who's the friend that he was doing the bucket list, is dying in the fire. Yeah. And the building collapses around Wade. Camera pushes in on the burning embers, which start to move, and we see a head come out from under the ash.
I didn't just get the cure to L cancer. I got the cure to L everything. But there was only one thing that really mattered.
And we cut to Vanessa walking in the rain, and he is following her with a hoodie, and all the passersby are completely freaked out by his appearance, mutters under their breath, insults, turns away. We hear the word freak at some point. I will say, this is my opinion, I think this is done perfectly fine.
Okay.
But I don't believe people are reacting to someone of that appearance in the street in that way today. I mean, yes, people will react, obviously, but like, and the whole, what's so hard is that, again, this is just my opinion, is like, yes, he looks bad. I'm not saying he doesn't. And he went from Ryan Reynolds, who's a truly handsome man, into not a handsome man.
Right.
But it's not that terrible. I mean, it's terrible, but he should go see Vanessa. I don't know. It's just kind of like, with their relationship, you should go see Vanessa, you know?
Yeah, I mean, if he was walking around like half naked, so you could see all the burns and the scars, maybe the people would should stop and react to that. But he's hoodied, he's covered up, yes, you notice the face, but like, yeah, I hear you. To make an exaggerated reaction. But of course, that's all done for the effect.
It's for the movie. Yeah, it has to be. It has to put him in that state. And now he shows up at the bar.
I'm not making her life as ugly as mine.
Come on, Wade. It can't be that bad.
Ah, bullshit. I'm a monster inside and out. I belong in a fucking circus.
And now Weasel still hasn't seen his face because he's kind of back with the hoodie in the shadows.
Wait, Vanessa loves you. She doesn't care what you low. Oh.
Do you like what you see?
No.
And then we're going to get, we've talked about this before with like Will Ferrell, is Joke-O-Rama. Joke-O-Rama is where you have a great improvisational actor and you just say, you do what's in the script, and then you say, do another one. And some people, like Will Ferrell, like Kristen Wiig, like a bunch of these people, can just rattle off one after another. And TJ Miller is one of those people. And there were dozens of things that came out of his mouth in this sequence, and we will hear some of them.
You look like an avocado. Had sex with an older, more disgusting avocado.
Yeah.
Not gently, like it was hate fucking. There was something wrong with the relationship, and that was the only catharsis that they could find without violence.
I've been in one of those.
Yeah, well, you got to do something to remedy this, because as of now, you only have one course of action.
And then it's essentially a structure joke that's the exact same structure as the moment where he proposes to Vanessa and they both say different things at the same time.
Right.
It was stick it in my and marry me. Here it is
find
Star
Francis.
in horror films. What? Star in your own horror films. Because you look like Freddy Krueger face fucking topographical map of Utah.
Here's what I'm actually gonna do. I'm gonna work through his crew until somebody gives up Francis, force him to fix this, then put a bullet in his skull and fuck the brain hole.
I don't want to see that or think of it again. But the douchebag does think you're dead, right?
And so this is, good. This is like pretending that Riggs is dead in Lethal Weapon, to use a very old reference. But yes, if they think you're dead, that's a good thing.
Like wear a mask?
Yes, a very thick mask, all the time. I am sorry, you are haunting. Your face is the stuff of nightmares.
Like a testicle with teeth.
You will die alone. If you could die.
It's also TJ Miller's tone. It's the kind of flatness of his delivery that makes it so funny. And now it's time to come up with a name. And we come up with Wade the Wisecracker, Scaredevil, Mr. Never Die, which makes him realize that he put money on Wade in the Deadpool, which makes them come up with Deadpool. Boom. Captain Deadpool.
Captain Deadpool.
Just Deadpool, yeah. To you, Mr. Pool. Deadpool. That sounds like a fucking franchise.
Which is another TJ Miller improvised line, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
And now we go to, which we have in many superhero movies, the building the costume montage. and by the way, so in actually building the costume, it's about 10 weeks to do it. Tons of different materials. They build 3D models. They do all sorts of tests. They have a 3D model of Ryan's face that they built a maquette that they put the masks on. All of this, they're testing everything out, as opposed to Wade, who has a white sweatshirt, and that's about it. And he puts up a map with strings on the wall with all the pictures, like from every conspiracy movie. By the way, just short sidebar, I heard a podcast fairly recently, I think it's Dakota Ring, where they went to find the origins of this particular image. And they went to the FBI and said, "Do you ever do this where you have a wall with maps and strings?" And they're like, "No one has ever do it. We have computers. This is the dumbest thing." But somehow it started, and then it's in like a beautiful mind, and then it became every serial killer. And so it's this thing that doesn't exist in reality at all that gets copied over and over again in movies. Because why would you put a wall with? It's like, look, details change. You type it into the computer. You have to. Yeah. You've got holes in all your pictures. Like, why would you do this? Anyway, and he's out fighting in the sweatsuit. Gets shot in the back. Turns around. We see the blood pouring off of him, and then we cut to him in the laundromat where he's trying to wash the blood out of the sweatshirt, and we hear
salsa water and lemon for blood. Or wear red.
And there is Leslie Uggams as Blind Al, which might be the greatest casting choice of all superhero. Yeah. It's like the craziest fucking thing, and it's so great.
Yeah. This is a woman who is a legend of acting. And I bet a majority of people who saw this movie had no idea who Leslie Uggams was. Yeah. And they probably thought she was some black character actress that was cast in the role because she was funny. Like, this is a woman with Broadway credits, a Tony Award for a Best Actress in a Musical in 1968. She got to be known as well for playing Kizzy Reynolds in Roots, which was a massive thing, which earned her a Golden Globe and Emmy Award nominations for her performance. She is the daughter of Juanita Ernestine Smith, who was a Cotton Club chorus girl dancer. That tells you how far back she goes in the legendary talent there connected with her life. She attended the Professional Children's School of New York. She went to Juilliard, okay, and she is playing this role in this film. So just a lot of things that she's done throughout her life as well. And even in the late 60s, after she'd appeared in Ed Sullivan's show singing a version of Yesterday from the Beatles, that kind of spurred her getting her own show, the Leslie Uggams Show in 1969, which was a variety show, which was the first variety show to be hosted by a black person since the Nat King Cole Show in the 1950s. So That just tells you she's got a hell of a legacy as an actress for numerous decades before she showed up as Blind Al here in the Deadpool movies.
Well, and it's so funny too because she's in American Fiction and turns in like the
great
performance,
American Fiction.
the performance that you would expect of like this is the older, powerful, incredibly talented, regal almost actor. And so the fact that she did this movie, and I looked for a story like of how this came about. I really didn't find one other than that they sent her the script and she said, sure. Like, and it's so crazy to me that she just 100% understands and commits to this part in this way and is cool with it. I love it.
Yeah. And she's currently right now in Fallout. If you guys watch Fallout on Prime Video, she's been a recurring character in the first two seasons that's been out. So she's a woman who just works, man, because she's really, really good. And she is funny as shit in all of these Deadpool movies.
She's so funny. And then we get the real suit. There's so many things about this suit that's so great, including the shape of the eyes, which I think I mentioned could be removed. Yeah. They also needed to make sure that he could breathe. Like this is an important thing, particularly when you're doing fight scenes. And one other thing, this suit is not comfortable from everything I have heard. It is, and that's true with a lot of the superhero suits.
You're about to be killed by a Zamboni. Tell me where your fucking boss is, or you're gonna die in 5 minutes.
And then finally we cut to the wide shot and see that the Zamboni is like halfway across the ice rink behind the guy. And then we get to, he's caught up with the recruiter.
41 confirmed kills. Now it's 89. About to be 90.
Mr. Wilson?
Ding ding.
You're looking very alive.
Ha! Only on the outside.
This is not going to end well for me.
This is not going to end well for you, no.
Deadpool turns to camera and says, but first you might want to look away for this. And the camera respectfully moves off him as we hear,
now this little piggy went to.
Then he puts him up on the map, and I'm assuming he's killed the recruiter? Is that our assumption?
I would say so. I would say so.
And now we're hopping into the taxi and with Dupinder, and we hear, and we all know how this turned out. Cut to him jerking off, I think, with a My Little Pony doll. Yeah. Don't know how Michael Vogel feels about that. Apparently, this was the third film that Ryan Reynolds had to masturbate on. He also masturbates in The Nines and The Change-Up.
What? I don't remember that in The Change-Up. Oh,
I don't think I ever saw The Change-Up.
Oh, it's good. I like that one. Yeah.
Some kinds of anger can't be managed. Like the kind where your year-long plan ends with the wrong guy getting dismembered. That said, when it comes time to licking wounds, there's no place like home.
And again, I'll say it again. This is as unslick a superhero location as you can possibly get. This is definitely across the tracks.
And I share that home with someone you've met, the old blind lady from the laundromat, Al.
And then we whip pan back to the laundromat where he's back with his blood-soaked sweatshirt, and we hear,
God, I miss cocaine.
And the camera goes back to Ryan Reynolds, who says, and this is one of my favorite straight-to-camera moments.
Fourth wall break inside a fourth wall break. That's like 16 walls.
That is an amazing joke to me.
I agree.
And we go in, and immediately we see Leslie Uggams trip on the Roomba with the hula hoop guy, or with the hula girl on it.
Morning, sleepyhead.
It smells like old lady pants in here.
Yes, I'm old. I wear pants.
But you're no lady.
I'm going to say, I know we already said it. Leslie Uggams is treasure in this movie.
Yeah, she gets it. She's so funny.
Yeah. He steps into his Crocs with socks.
Upside of being blind, I've never seen you in Crocs.
You mean my big rubber masturbating shoes?
Yes, I know. Downside of being blind, I hear everything in this duplex.
How's that cooling coming along? IKEA doesn't assemble itself, you know.
I love the whole time that she's building IKEA furniture blind. Like, I just think there's something really brilliant about that. Because when you build IKEA furniture, as someone who's built a lot of IKEA furniture, even when you have sight, it's hard as fuck to build that goddamn furniture.
By the way, originally there was way more blind make fun of her sort of slapstick.
Oh.
And they got on the set and they're doing it, and it just didn't feel right in terms of the power dynamics. It felt like we're just making fun of the blind lady instead of this thing that they created, which is in some bizarre way, they are equals who like each other. And she understands him in some completely insane way that doesn't make sense, but it totally works.
I don't mind the Cunin. It's an improvement on the Herdal.
Please. Anything's an improvement over the Herdal.
We get IKEA jokes, which I love.
I'd have taken an Emnus or a Trisel over the Herdal.
By the way, I can't pronounce any of those things, which is why I cut to Ryan Reynolds' voice saying all of that.
That's partly so.
Screw, please.
Here? Now? Just kidding. I know it's been decades.
You'd be surprised.
And then there are certain shots in movies that don't look impressive, but sometimes can take almost a whole day. And the shot of her sitting down and the IKEA furniture collapsing, they could not get right. The timing didn't work, or a piece, or it fell the wrong direction. And each time they did it, you had to rebuild it back up to do the shot again. And they're doing it over and over. And finally, they get one that works. And then as he's leaving, he farts as he goes by.
Hashtag drive-by.
I mean, the movie was already totally surprising, but this scene is just a new level.
Well, this is why you cast someone who can portray a character who is blind like this, but and get at times abused by Deadpool, but she loses no stature in your mind. Because he's the one being the jerk off, and she's just kind of rolling with it.
And then we cut back to Ajax and Angel. She's sewing him up. We reveal that now they're going to go after Wade, and we're back at the house where Al offers him Tylenol.
I raided my stash of wisdom tooth Percocet, and I am orbiting fucking Saturn right now.
And he reaches up and touches her face with that little tiny hand, and it is so gross. It's so funny. And it was a huge laugh in the theater.
Well, is your hand really small?
About the size of a KFC spork.
And she now gives the sage advice.
I get why you're so pissy. But your mood's never gonna brighten till you find this woman and tell her how you feel.
What do I keep telling you, Mrs. Magoo? She wouldn't have me. If you could see me, you'd understand.
Looks on everything.
Looks are everything. You ever heard David Beckham speak? It's like he mouth sexed a can of helium. Think Ryan Reynolds got this far on his superior acting method?
All great.
Beckham thing is perfect. I mean, for someone like me who's followed him for years, that voice is.
It's so funny, by the way, when someone who you've never heard speaks for the first time and has a completely disconnected voice. We're back to the bar with Weasel, who is TJ Miller is telling a joke at the opening of this scene. And as we've said, TJ Miller can come up with a lot of jokes. So every single take, he came up with a brand new joke to tell.
Wow.
Here's the problem with this is a scene where actors have to cue off of his lines to make their entrance. So Ajax and Angel are waiting to make their entrance. But every time the joke is different, so they have no idea when it's going to end and when they should come in. And finally, Tim Miller says, can we go back to this joke and have these people enter at this point?
Can I help you, ladies?
Well, I do hope so. Now, I heard you might be able to point me in the direction of a friend of mine. Name of Wade Wilson.
Sorry, I don't know the name.
And then another throat grab. I think this is the third or the fourth time we're lifting someone off the ground by their throat. But the moment that happens, all of the guys in the bar pull out their guns.
Sweetheart, you might want to look around.
And Ajax convinces Angel to put her down. They're heading out, and he says,
Wait, we have a fucking problem. And by we, I mean you.
Cut to walking with Weasel, and Wade is freaking out.
Oh, I can't believe I'm doing this. Is there a word for half afraid, half angry?
Yeah, frangry, I guess. You decided what you're gonna say to her?
Fuck me.
Maybe not start with that.
Yeah, so this is interesting because she was just telling him that he needed to confront her. He didn't want to confront her, and he's clearly been following her, as we saw a few scenes ago. So it finally takes her possibly being in danger for Wade to finally kind of confront his own fears of how she might react to him, to finally, get up the courage to go and confront her here at this strip bar.
Well, I'm glad you brought this up because this is a perfect, my definitions of story and plot are that plot are the mechanism, the external conflicts, and story is the internal and interpersonal conflicts.
Right.
So, and the story generally emotionally is what's driving movies. And Wade's story is about him and Vanessa. And it's about overcoming this thing and getting back to the woman that he loves. And this is a case in good movies, this happens where the plot drives the story forward. Wade can't drive the story forward because he's afraid to make this move. And so the plot comes in and forces him to deal with the thing that he's not dealing with. I think that's great.
Yeah, agreed.
We're in a strip club. This was shot in a strip club. And the strippers in the strip club are the strippers that worked in the strip club. So this was all pretty easy to do. And the dialogue that they got for the guy playing the strip bar DJ, they got from the guy who was the strip bar DJ, and they created all sorts of lines and handed them to the actor playing this MC. And that actor is Stan Lee, and he looked at all of these lines. He's like, well, I can't say that. And I can't say that. And I can't say that. So finally they came up with
coming onto our stage right now. Give it up for Chastity.
Or as I like to call her, irony.
Where do you put this in the Stan Lee cameos in Marvel films?
I think it's fine. Mostly because it was pretty tame thing for him to say. If he'd went out there with something, I think it would have risen in terms of the rankings. So yeah.
Every time I see her, it's like the first time.
And we see Vanessa from behind, and we hear,
especially from this angle.
No disagreements.
No lie. Yeah.
No lie. No lie detected.
Yeah.
And then as she starts to turn to him, of course, he hides. And now Wade is in the bathroom, which, by the way, is the bathroom from the bar location where Sister Margaret's is, because they are saving money on everything, which I love. Yeah. Once you've got a location, you use it for every single thing you can think of. And he's at the mirror. I know that you've done this at the mirror, talking to himself.
Come on, get it together. This isn't about me. This is about Vanessa. Here we go. Maximum effort.
Those were the days.
There's more of a deleted scene where some guy comes into the bathroom and starts talking to him while he's talking to himself, but they cut that. Vanessa gets called over for our boss, told that someone wants to see her outside, and now she's outside in the rain. Again, this is the alley next to the bar location of Sister Margaret's.
Yeah.
She sees a figure in the shadows in a hoodie, and I think most of us know that this ain't going to be Wade, but she goes,
I knew it was you. The weird curvy edges. Like a jigsaw puzzle.
Which means that this whole time, even though she knew Wade was probably dead, she has believed that he is alive. You know?
She sensed him at times. Yeah. Which I think, when you find that one person, maybe that is true. You sense them.
I have no opinion on that, but I do think that we tend to want to believe in people long after they're dead because they live in our minds. It's hard to let go of that. That's definitely true.
Sure.
But of course, it comes forward and it's Ajax.
You have Wade Wilson to thank for this.
And she starts to runs straight into Angel.
I want to give some credit to Morena Baccarin because this is a part that could easily have been just kind of overdone or overacted or just played as the, kind of the innocent dummy. Do you know what I'm saying? Even though she's like, obviously clearly very trauma porn and all that stuff that they go through earlier. But like, if you watch her, I think this is a great lesson for people who are looking at acting. She's a great listener. When you watch her, she doesn't do much with her face. She looks right at the person who's talking to her and she absorbs it. And when this moment happens, when Ed Skrein comes out of the shadows, she is smiling initially. And then when she sees that it's him, just slowly, it dawns on her face that it's not him. It's not Wade. And so there is this. So these little things that when people talk about, well, how do you know good acting or how do you notice good acting? Every once in a while, I like to point it out because we're so caught up in what Ryan is doing, which is great. It's fun. It's big, but it's believable. But Morena is she's going underneath him. And she, I think, is doing just as good of a job in what she's doing and bringing this kind of seriousness or this groundedness to the film that is important because she is essentially the heart of the film because of his feelings for her, the love he has for her, the love they have for each other. And so I think it's just important to watch her in these scenes because she doesn't get a lot of scenes to act solo or without Ryan in the scene.
Yeah.
And I think she really brings it when she does. And I haven't seen the new show she's on with CBS, but she would be the reason to watch it, you know?
Well, I want to go back to something you said in the first part, which is the difference between the first Deadpool and the sequels. And it's really her. And I think she anchors this whole movie. I think if you remove her or have a lesser actor in the part, the movie drops down several grades. You know,
It's what, yeah, and I agree with you, Steve. And I'll say I think I'm going in the same direction, a little farther maybe. I would say both of these, the reason both of those movies aren't as good as the first one is because she has been minimized in both of those films, and there's a lot of conversation behind the scenes about why that is. There's both apparently rumors that maybe they didn't get along so much, and it's a shame because I think Morena is so essential to these movies, and until Ryan gets over it and realizes that and brings her back, I don't think he's going to make another great Deadpool movie ever that matches this one. You know?
Well, I mean, I'll totally watch a movie with a wisecracking asshole and fun action sequences.
Sure.
But it won't be a great movie. I'll
It won't have
totally
the
enjoy
heart.
it. It'll be fun. Yeah. This is the heart of the film. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So she gets grabbed. Wade hears that she headed out to the alley. He goes out in the rain. Of course, she's gone, looks around, sees something, and it is the Bernadette Peters purse. And Wade freaks out.
Motherfucker! Wait. Let's just chocolate. Well, we can talk about what we're gonna. Okay, or you can hit that. Yeah. No. All right. Hey.
Now he knows. He knows.
And they're back inside at the house, and he's, he's peeing on one of those like man-shaped heavy bags and just swearing up a blue streak. And then his phone rings, and we see it's from Vanessa, but no, it's a text from Francis, and he says, "It says you want her? Come and get her," with the poop emoji.
That's the shit emoji. It's the turd with the smiling face and the eyes. I thought it was chocolate yogurt for so long.
Oh, yeah, I need guns.
Okay, which ones?
I need all the guns!
All right, okay.
Which is great. It's great and emotional and funny. And then we go right into the arming montage with just gun after gun after gun, everything you could possibly imagine, including the People magazine with People's Sexiest Man Alive, Hugh Jackman, just for a moment.
I love how much that ended up paying off in real life. Like, I just
Totally.
love how much that ended up paying off years later by having him in Deadpool and Wolverine. And you could argue essentially bringing Hugh back completely to the Marvel universe, right? Because of what their relationship was like, and then bringing him into Deadpool and Wolverine. Just so smart on so many levels, that it worked out that way.
It's one of the few comebacks where, when an athlete comes back, it's usually like, oh, maybe don't. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And when we have had actors go back to roles decades later where it's just like, whether it's Eddie Murphy in the Beverly Hills Cop or Coming to America or things like that, where, you're revisiting the thing. Maybe we should have left it alone. And if you had told me after seeing Logan, if Hugh Jackman should be done and never come back to the role, it's like, absolutely. Never come back. You had the perfect ending. It was great. And I'm thrilled that he came back. 100% thrilled.
I agree.
As he's getting all the guns, we see blind Al with a gun. Always good for a joke. And then he knows that she has one more gun, has her cough it up, and she lifts it up off of her ankle. And there's more jokes there. And I love the end, by the way, as he's fully armed and ready to go, that Weasel says,
Wait. I'd go with you, but I don't want
to. It's the Paulie moment to Rocky.
Exactly.
Remember when I said I'd want to be you? I was joking. Yeah, exactly. That kind of thing, yeah.
And then he goes to Al and says,
if I never see you again, I want you to know that I love you very much. And also, there's about 116 kilos of cocaine buried somewhere in the apartment, right next to the cure for blindness. Good luck.
So good.
It's so great. and it's a great capper, too. The capper at the end is fantastic. Is that there's a pause of Weasel and Blind Al in the room alone, and Weasel says,
You want to get fucked up?
This is a thing I don't have, right? I've never been, Steve, you know this. I'm not a drug user. Like there was a period, after my father got diagnosed, where I did marijuana, went extreme as we talked about in Mexico, right? But I'm not a person who uses drugs, and so
me neither.
I don't know. Yes, I know that. I know that. I don't know that moment of like randomly getting fucked up with a stranger. Like I just don't know what that is. But I know people who do drugs have many stories about just randomly getting fucked up with strangers because you both want to get fucked up and you want to do it with company. So this moment is always so funny to me that you couldn't ask for two more completely different people to be in the room. And Weasel goes, "You want to get fucked up?" And she's down with it. So it's very funny.
I bet they have a great night. I bet they have a lot of fun.
1,000%. 1,000% they have a great. And I bet he treats her better than Deadpool does.
Oh, wait.
Like, I don't think he makes fun of her blindness is what I'm getting at. Like, I think he actually
Weasel's not making fun. I mean, he makes fun of Deadpool's face and everything else.
Sure, because Deadpool can fight back. I don't think he'd make fun of an elderly black lady who's blind.
I'm not saying you're wrong, but I don't know.
You're like, he's called Weasel for a reason.
Well, and she likes Deadpool. You know what I mean? Like, this is the thing. It's like, I wish this was a deleted scene. I think Leslie Uggams and TJ Miller improvising them getting fucked up and sharing stories. The scene would be fantastic.
Yeah, you're right. So right. You're so right. Because they'd be talking about Deadpool and commiserating about what it's like to live with him or be his friend. Yeah, 100%.
And now we're back to the X-Men mansion where he knocks on the door and Negasonic answers.
Ripley from Alien 3.
Fuck, you're old.
Fake laugh, hiding real pain.
Go get silver balls.
Which is great. We hear Colossus's voice, and she goes inside for a moment, and he says,
I'm gonna wait out here, okay? It's a big house. It's funny that I only ever see two of you. It's almost like the studio couldn't afford another X-Man.
Again, how they got away with this, I will never know. Because you do not say this. I mean, people do not understand. Maybe they do, which makes the enjoyment of the film even more deeper, is like, you don't say these things out loud. The stuff that he says throughout this movie to like make fun of the studios, make fun of a company, all these kind of things. Like, it's just amazing what he gets away with in this movie, because that's like something you don't talk about is like the budget and being able to afford what heroes, because we've all talked about that in our own way when we look at a superhero movie. Oh, they couldn't bring that person in because they couldn't afford this thing or the rights issues. And the fact that he just said it out loud, I think is great.
Well, it's funny. We just recorded a short, which is available on patreon.com/Cine-Files, where we talked about the fact that the narratives are overwhelming truth in places like social media, and that the only thing is people wanting to put out a story that makes them look the best. And we talked about what a problem with this is, and you just said, look, we know these things, we talk about these things, but you can't say them. And to me, it's like, I think the same thing I said when we were talking about the short is that the studio that can joke about these things is stronger than the studio that has to pretend that something everybody knows is true is not true.
Right. I think that's what's amazing that Fox let them do this, because it is so funny.
So we have a question from one of our patrons, Peter Bylon, who it's actually directed at me. And he says, Steve, as someone who has written both movies and comic books, how do the ways you tell a story differ? Pacing, callbacks, running humor, and needing the audience to have some knowledge of the backstory are a few examples I would suspect are different, but I'd love to hear you break it down. Well, I have an answer for this. And it's probably different from what most people think about. But since I'm working on a comic right now, and we've been literally, my partner Steve Jones and I have been talking about this exact thing. The biggest difference between film and comic books is that in film, you control time, and in comic books, you control space. Is that what's going on when you watch a movie, you are watching the same rectangular shaped size image all the time, and 24 times every second, a new image is being placed in that space, and you cannot look at anything else. That is what is being presented, and it goes at the pace that it presents. You as the viewer cannot change the time. I mean, you could pause and rewind if you wanted to. And so what the filmmaker is doing is they're going like, oh, I want you to look at Wade's face for a long time because he's sad. He'll have you look at Wade's face because he's sad. If I have a comic book, I cannot control how long you look at a particular panel. What I can control is the size and placement of the panels. I could have 5 panels of Wade's face to make it seem like a lot of time is passing. I could have one big panel. I can rearrange the panel. And when you turn the page of a comic book, you are capable of seeing not just the thing that happens next, but the whole 2 pages down to the bottom right-hand corner of that page. And you often do. And your eyes can go to a panel, they can go back, they can move around, they can spend a lot of time on a lot of panel, not a lot of time. So I can't control the time that you spend in a comic book. I can control the time you spend in a movie. I cannot control the space of the size of the image or the shape of the image unless I have things in the frame that do it in a movie, but I can totally control that in a comic book. That is the big difference.
Yeah, that makes sense. Completely, 100%.
And we are, of course, back to the cab with Deepinder. And I love always, this is the enter late, leave early thing. We start right in the middle of something where he says,
And that, in my opinion, the movie Cocoon is pure pornography.
Which is just enough a joke that's like, wait, what? And I'm picturing those actors and Don Amici and Wilford Brimley and okay. And we see, I love the shot of Colossus crammed in the back of that cab. It's
so
great.
perfect.
And then he asks Deepinder about Gita, the girl that we were talking about in the very beginning of the film.
I try to hold on tight, Mr. Poole, but Bandhu is more craftier and handsomer than me.
And then the car goes over a bump and we hear a scream. By the way, would you like to know the actor who performed that scream?
Oh, please. Who is
That's Ryan Reynolds. He's apparently playing Bandhu, although he did not get credit.
That's hilarious.
My romantic rival, Bandhu. He's tied up in the trunk. I'm doing, as you said, DP. I plan to gut him like a tandoori fish, then dump his carcass on Geeta's doorstep.
And Deadpool denies it.
I did not tell him to do that. Absolutely not. You got lost in translation. Dopinder, this is no way to win Geeta's heart back. I'm so proud of you.
And that's the joke we're going to get next, is him saying one thing to the X-Men and another thing to Deepinder, and it is very funny. And they get out.
Not often a dude ruins your face, skull stomps your sanity, grabs your future baby mama, and personally sees to 4 of your 5 shittiest moments. Let's just say, it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas.
And they walk towards this big aircraft carrier type thing that looks kind of like a helicarrier.
Yeah.
But I believe isn't, which brings us to another question from Peter Bylone, who says, how did they get away with using a helicarrier as the setting for the climactic battle? They weren't part of the MCU yet, so I have thought that had been a no-no. So I looked.
Yes, go ahead.
I researched this, and what I could not find a definitive answer, but what I think they did was they said this is an aircraft carrier, and they did a few things to make it kind of look like a helicarrier, but not exactly.
Right.
I think that's kind of how this went down.
I think that makes sense because when I look at this thing, I don't necessarily think helicarrier. It looks more like a battleship that it's got helicarrier kind of edges, but it looks overall like a battleship in my mind. And plus, it's grounded. So
yeah,
I don't know what the rights would be to a helicarrier, to be honest with you.
I mean, if you copy the exact design, I don't.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I literally don't. I don't know if this ever came up, and maybe they did talk to the MCU. I have no idea how this happened. But needless to say, it is time for a slow-mo superhero walk to some great music. X going to give it to you from DMX, and it's great.
X gon' give it to you. Fuck, wait for you to get it on your own. X gon' deliver to you.
What would we do without like rock and roll music or rap music to show how badass some people are when they walk into it? I'll tell you, having done CinemaCon, Steve, I can't even count the amount of dorks who came out to fucking rap music to talk about shit. I just was like, what is going on here, man? So it was just a little weird how people need to co-opt this stuff in order to like, yeah, I'm a badass. I'm coming out to talk to you about ticket sales. Yeah. It's just so funny to me.
I'll tell you one thing. Student filmmakers would be entirely fucked without music because the amount of movies that have ridden to seem like they're good because really it's just great music. Yes, I mean, the power of music to elevate shitty filmmaking and then make excellent, great filmmaking is absolutely huge. And that's all that, it's the same thing we were talking about before. They are trying to create a narrative that they're some kind of badass by playing music when they come out and presenting some kind of bullshit, and it's not, and to some degree it has to work. Right. Otherwise they wouldn't do it, you know?
100%.
But when it doesn't work, it really doesn't work.
God.
It's when the contrast is too far. And then just in the middle of the music, we essentially have a record scratch with
Hey, where's your duffel bag?
cut to a calling Depinder, who, distracted by the phone call from Deadpool, crashes into a car, gets rear-ended, and we have a scream, meaning Bantu's in a bit of trouble, I think. And he's not going to get his big duffel of guns.
I'm gonna do this the old-fashioned way, with 2 swords and maximum effort. Hear the music.
Which they do, and we're back to the slow motion walk towards the helicarrier. And then there's Angel, and she jumps off the helicarrier, and Wade, with so much excitement, says,
Superhero landing. She gonna do a superhero landing. Wait for it.
And she certainly does a superhero landing.
Was this the first, like, making fun of this? Because we know in Black Widow, Yelena makes fun of it with Natasha. Like, is this the first time where they're making fun of the superhero landing? Because I think it's funny.
I mean, I would assume that in some parody movie, like in some scary movie or something, they did.
Maybe. Yeah.
You know, but I don't remember one. I do think the whole superhero landing is entirely a gift of the Matrix.
Yeah.
Like once you had the Matrix and had those moments, it was like, well, everybody has to always land cool. We got to stick the landing.
Yeah.
And by the way, I completely agree with Deadpool here. Yeah, that's really hard on your knees. Totally impractical.
You're a lovely lady, but I'm saving myself for Francis. That's why I brought him.
I prefer not to hit a woman, so please play.
And I think the Angel Colossus fight scene is really good.
Oh, yeah. I think it's great. Yeah, I love that.
Now, Colossus gets knocked away, and he says, I mean, that's why I brought her. Cut to Negasonic, who is on the phone tweeting or something.
Or sending a text. God knows,
sending a text.
Oh no, finish your tweet. That's fine. Just give us a second. There you go. Hashtag it.
And she bursts into flame and charges Angel.
Oh, I so pity the dude who pressures her into prom sex.
I wonder, though, she doesn't get to use her powers that much in the movie. And I wonder if they didn't do that because, honestly, she could wipe out everybody with her powers. I mean, Negasonic Teenage Warhead, that is going to wipe out everybody. So, it's like, I wonder if they limited her powers because it's not called Negasonic Teenage Warhead. It's called Deadpool. So she's going to do certain things, but not too much, you know?
I think that's totally true. She's a utility player, and they use her when she is useful to be used.
Yes.
You know, I'll tell you my silly headcanon is I think because she's a trainee, it seems the way they do it that she takes some effort and concentration to bring her powers up. Like it isn't just an instant thing. And this is the kind of thing where a few more years at the X-Men mansion working in the danger room, she would get a lot better, you know?
Right. Good point.
Now he pulls his underwear out of his pants, makes them into a truce flag, and says,
You only work for that shit-spackled Muppet fart. So, I'm gonna give you a chance for y'all to lay down your firearms in exchange for preferential, bordering on gentle, possibly even lover-like treatment.
Which they open fire. I bet there was times they had to search the script to go, have we ever used shit-spackled Muppet fart before?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like, I don't know how you even come up with those insults. That's not in my wheelhouse at all. But like, there's so many of them and they have so much variation.
Yeah.
But they open fire. He flips around, wipes them all out with the sword. The Colossus Angel fight she's doing really, really well against him.
Yeah.
He knocks her into a car. More fun choreography with Deadpool. Negasonics takes someone out. Deadpool naturally teabags somebody. And then he stops a sword at the last possible second and says,
Bob?
Wait.
Oh my God, I haven't seen you since
Jacksonville.
TGI Fridays.
Which we've heard about before.
Yeah.
Well, what the hell? God, come here, you.
And he looks like he's about to hug him, but instead he headbutts him, knocks him unconscious, and says, how are the kids? Good? And Gail? She's still fixing that tuna casserole? So good, but oh so bad for the waistline.
And Gail, she's still fixing that tuna casserole? So good. Oh, but bad for the waistline, if you know what I'm talking about.
So I do think he consciously spared Bob's life.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
It didn't stop him from knocking him out.
How did he know it was Bob? Was it the eyes? Because Bob pulls down the mask to show his face.
Once you've hung out with Bob at TGI Fridays in Jacksonville,
yeah,
you know him. You know him anywhere just from his posture, John.
Yeah,
it's
I
Bob.
guess you're right. 100%.
Maybe he can smell the tuna casserole on him.
I don't
know.
He's got a musk or a scent. Yeah, tuna casserole scent.
And now we have a question. This is a big question, and this is an amazing question. It might be a little tough to answer, but I'm going to bring it out anyway. Which is from Adam McAllister, one of our great supporters on Patreon, who says, "If Deadpool is fully aware he's in a fictional world, do his actions still carry real moral weight, or does that awareness excuse his behavior?" This is a question of deep ethical significance. If you are aware that you're living in fiction, is it okay to kill all the people you want?
Wait, but I reject the premise of the question. This idea that Wade is living in fiction. Who established that? When did we establish?
I think what he's pointing out is that he knows that they're movie studios and there's different people who played Professor X and there's all sorts of jokes about the world of the movie.
Right.
But I think you bring up an excellent point. Is he aware that he's in a fictional situation?
Yeah, I don't think he thinks he's talking to us. That's what I mean. I think Wade is crazy, insane. And his fourth wall breaking, he's not talking to us. He's talking to a fictional audience that he thinks is there. And we just happen to be in the camera. We just happen to be where he's looking when he's talking to us. But I think he plays both sides in that he is talking to a audience and we as the viewer are there in the frame looking at him as he's looking at us. But I don't think he's actually talking to us in the movie theater. He's talking to the audience in his mind because I think Wade is that kind of crazy because he got burnt up pretty fucking bad. And that's going to mess with your mind, you know?
Does he believe that there is an audience listening to him?
In his mind, yes, but not us in the theater. Like, I don't think he knows he's making a movie for the theater. That's what I mean. I think he's living his life and he's talking to an audience, but the audience is not necessarily us.
I think you bring up a great, because where my brain goes then, well, it's like, if he believes there is an audience that he's talking to, and there is an audience that he's talking to, is he crazy? You know?
Yeah.
Because the reality is happening that he thinks is happening.
Yeah.
So you took it in a direction that I didn't expect, which is fantastic. Because I'm just thinking about, so in my mind, I don't think there's anywhere to square this that actually makes complete sense. But in my mind is that he is aware that there is a reality beyond the reality that he lives in on some level, you know, that he has some sense of, because that's how he can break the fourth wall in all these ways. But the idea that his world is fictional doesn't make sense to me at all, because the most real thing to Wade Wilson is Vanessa. She is not fictional to him.
No.
She is the most emotionally three-dimensional and real person. He is not walking around in a fictional world. He doesn't, if he thought he was walking around in a fictional world, he wouldn't hate Ajax, because that's not a real person. So so my thing is, I don't think he thinks he's walking around in a fictional world. Right. But I do think he is talking to us and understands things about who played different X-Men characters. But your thing is he's crazy, and I don't think there's ever a way that we can explain this that makes complete sense.
Well, I mean, I said at the beginning that I don't think he thinks he's living in a fictional world. I just think the world he lives in has released movies about the X-Men, but the X-Men exist in his world.
Right.
And the movies exist as well. So there is a Professor X, and there are two actors who played Professor X in his world. They just happen to be the same two actors who play Professor X in our world. Right? I just think that's the thing.
I mean, I think that's a great explanation. And that's where my brain also goes back to, there is no way that this doesn't, because you know what?
It's not. No.
It's just, we're being silly. We're having fun. It doesn't, so like the brilliance of Adam's question, which is very deep, also comes up against, I don't think Deadpool's going to hold that much deepness. Like it's not his cup will runneth over at that point.
Yes, exactly. Don't ask him to do too much. You'll be disappointed. Yeah, exactly.
Colossus reached down to pull up this big metal hatch or whatever, revealing Angel, shadows covering perfectly a certain part of her body. And Colossus's reaction, his prim, proper sort of, oh, I shouldn't look at that, is so lovely. It's sweet.
It's very sweet.
You're on the left. You're beautiful.
That is so sweet.
And before we get to the next moment, does she genuinely think that's sweet?
No.
Or is she just luring him in so she can punch him in the nuts?
Yeah, I think luring him. I mean, she's a fighter, so, you know, various states of undress will happen in a fight. So, you know.
I think you're totally right, and there's no reason whatsoever to believe that she actually thinks it's sweet. But in my headcanon, she was tickled for a second by Colossus's sweetness before punching him very hard in the nuts.
Thanks.
Ajax looks down with Vanessa and sees that, in fact, Wade did spell out Francis with the bodies.
Which is great.
She's way up above on top of the carrier, and Negasonic says, hey, climb on, because she is underneath a metal hatch. I don't know if it's the same one that Colossus had over Angel. And we instantly know what the plan is, which is great. He jumps on top. She powers up. He flies up towards the deck, grabs on by his fingertips, pulls himself up, and there's Ajax, and Vanessa's in the tube.
I love this move from Negasonic. Like you said, she's a trainee, so in this moment, I think she sees an opportunity to really step up and does it. Because remember, she's been making fun of him the whole time, and in this moment, she cares to help him. You know what I'm saying? And I think this is a great moment of connection with her. Because like a teen girl, you don't know, like, I mean this in a stereotypical way, not an honest way. Like, you know, they'll frustrate the shit out of you, but then randomly step up to help you. You just cannot predict it. You just cannot predict it. So I think.
Let me ask you this question.
Yes.
In her heart of hearts, in her Negasonic heart of hearts,
yes,
who does she like more, Colossus or Deadpool?
Ooh, I don't know if I could make it. I don't know if I could answer that, to be honest with you, because the ball busting with Deadpool is fun, but I think she also gets tired of it. With Colossus, I think she respects the fact that he's a legitimately good person, and and she probably makes fun of him all the time, and he just lets it roll off his back. So, in a way, he lets her be herself, but it doesn't affect him, her sarcasm and whatever. So, I think maybe Colossus, because she's had more exposure to him.
I actually think you've actually cut through this almost perfectly, because I agree with you. And what I would put it is that she would make more fun of Colossus, like
right,
because
yes.
he's not
square.
Cool. He's totally square, and so for all the personality things, she could just take him down all over the place.
Yes,
but inside he is an incredibly good guy, and deep down she knows that.
Right.
And Deadpool is way more fun than Colossus,
right,
and funnier than Colossus, and she can joke with him like she could not with Colossus.
Yeah.
But Deadpool is not the good guy that Colossus is deep down. You know,
Deadpool is who you fuck in your 20s. Colossus is who you marry in your 40s. That's just the honest truth. Not that she would do either. I'm just saying. Overall,
so many jokes about both of those sexual relationships, but we're not going to go into any of them.
Yeah.
You're right, beautiful. Red really is my color.
And that is the moment that she hears Wade's voice
again. But look what she does. She doesn't go, "Oh my, Wade!" Like it's very still and honest. And I'm telling you, this is how Morena is a good actress. Little moments like this, to me, make a difference to a good performance, man.
I agree, and I think there's some anger in there.
Yes,
this is the guy that left her and apparently didn't die and has been alive and has lied to her and not come to see her in all this time.
And this is the moment he chooses to reveal himself. Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah,
but I love this back and forth, right? Because Ajax is like, "Oh, I'm crawling back in the head of yours." And he goes, "Bitch, you never left." And she goes, "You fucking did." Like, I just love that there's this like three different narrative, like feelings going on in this situation and the battle back and forth. It's so funny, man.
I hope they've locked pain to your every last nerve, because I'm gonna go looking.
Hey, you grow back body parts now, Wade. When I'm finished, parts will have to grow back you.
Good one.
and then turns the camera and says, yeah, that was a good one. And Wade's got his sword, and Ajax has his big hammer type thing.
Let's dance.
And by dance, I mean let's try to kill each other.
And they fight, and the first thing he does is puncture the tube with the sword so that Vanessa can breathe. Again, I think the choreography is all really good.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah, I think
agree.
it's entertaining and inventive and shows their characters all the things I want to get out of good choreography, which, by the way, as I've said, are all the things that all the AI slop we see with fight scenes between all these people do not have. They don't understand what choreography is. They just have people punching each other.
Well, because you must have emotion behind good choreography as well. Like that's important. The emotion of the scene, the emotion of the fight as it's switching advantages. You know, it's important.
We're back with Angel and Colossus fighting. And it is so great to have someone who actually can move and throw punches really, really well, because you're not cutting away. The form is good. The balance is good. All those things that you can kind of fake with someone who has a couple of months of training and get them to throw a pretty good punch or a pretty good kick. But you can't have the wide shot on them and really show them moving as much, because you'll see the flaws. And with Gina Carano, you really don't. And she had to do something even harder, which is that she does one pass of all the choreography, flips and falls and kicks and punches and everything with the big guy who's playing Colossus in the suit with the big ball above his head. Then she has to do one pass empty for a blank plate and do all those moves, including getting flipped and slamming on the ground and all. She had to just do all that to herself. So they had that. That's all hard to do.
Yeah.
Wow. And And then she gets behind him and is choking him with some big giant cable.
Yeah.
Vanessa is freeing herself out of the tube. Both Wade and Ajax are now disarmed. More fighting, biting, flipping, kneeing. And then Ajax drives a knife into the side of Wade's head.
Oh.
She cuts down with the sword to free herself completely from the tube. Ajax gives Wade just this unbelievable, brutal beatdown, hitting him over and over again in the head. And in this moment, Vanessa runs up and with one of Wade's swords stabs him through the chest. Yeah. And now all of us go down. And this is like the low point of the movie. Like this is like, oh my God, Wade is stabbed in the head. He's about to lose. This is terrible. We go into slow-mo. He goes down reaching for the knife in his head. He's lying in slow-mo. And then you hear sound turn into music. And I think it takes a second to realize that you know this piece of music. That the piece of music is familiar because it is You're the Inspiration by Chicago. You know our love was meant to be. And he's looking at Vanessa and animated loving figures pop up. And we realize this is his brain damaged moment because of the knife in his head. It is one of the funniest, greatest moments in any superhero movie I can think of.
I agree. It's so inventive, incredibly funny, and works within the spirit of the movie as you've laid it out, right? And then all these little like animated weird ass characters show up to accompany the song, which is amazing.
It's incredible. And he's looking the most lovingly possible with a knife through his head at Vanessa, reaches his hands up and makes like a little heart. It's so romantic. And she's like looking at him. And then the moment that he turns his romantic hand gesture into a sexual one with his finger, and she starts screaming at him. And they do this sound design wise, they do it so perfectly because the music, which was so romantic in a moment before, starts to get really distorted. And he sees Ajax grab Vanessa and just toss her. And Deadpool stands up with that knife sticking out of his head. Now the music is super distorted. And he reaches up, pulls the knife out, and the music stops distorted.
Yeah.
This is, the moment of get up that is in so many movies.
Yeah.
Get up and be the hero,
It's so great. Yeah.
We're back with Angel, who looks like she's killing Colossus. Nega sees it, charges up, and we see her explode behind and crash into the ground, sending both Colossus and Angel flying. And the explosion totally puts the end to the Chicago music, by the way. Also knocks out the support for the ship. which starts coming down. And this is our final big action set piece moment as Ajax and Poole fight as they're falling and everything is crashing off this ship. By the way, as we've heard, these big companies now spread out their special effects to multiple companies. So we're into literally the domain of digital domain. They handled this whole final sequence.
Wow. It's really well done.
Oh, yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
I got you. I got a plan. You're not gonna like it.
He puts it in the tube, closes it, and now he's hanging off the edge, off the tube.
Don't worry. I'm totally on top of this. Maximum effort.
And he screams and tosses the tube as they go flying and the ship collapses. And I will just say, and they said this on the commentary track too.
Yeah.
Seriously, Vanessa would be dead. There's no way she's surviving. He throws her in a glass tube off a thing like 200 feet into the air onto concrete and broken metal and a slag heap. She's in deep trouble. But we're going to ignore that.
Yeah.
We're in the black. Spent a long time in the black. We hear the sound of concrete kind of getting pulled back, and we see Colossus lifting up yet another slab. And they find the tube. They freed Vanessa. She looks around confused. And we see Poole way above her.
Oh my God, that was so awesome!
And Ajax hits him and they stumble down back to fighting. Deadpool ends up on top and then he just takes him apart. He breaks his arm, breaks the other arm, more punches.
I had to fix this butterface.
What? You fucking idiot. Did you really think there was a cure for that?
And Ajax is just laughing at him.
So, you mean to say, after all this, you can't fix me?
It sounds even stupider when you say it.
And I love Deadpool's response. It's so great. He says,
like the kind of stupid who admits he can't do the one thing I'm keeping him alive for?
And he pulls out Al's little gun, which he did save. Didn't go in the duffel.
Any last words?
What's my name?
Who fucking cares?
Wait! 4 or 5 moments.
I think they balance this speech. It's perfectly right in the slot.
Yeah.
Where it's not so terrible to be horribly ridiculous, but it's bad enough that you know real soon that this is not going, you know?
But also it's because as the audience, you want him to be a hero. As much as you enjoy all the sarcasm, whatever, like the relationship with Vanessa is legitimate. It's real. It's what makes us care about Deadpool as well. So the fact that you have this moment where Colossus is trying to essentially convince him to be the best person he can be, I think is perfect. And I love that like Wade looks up and like, where the fuck is that coming from? As if he doesn't know Colossus's voice. It's just great. It's just great.
And what Colossus does, and I'm not going to play the whole speech, but he is basically giving the hero speech. He says,
over a lifetime, there are only 4 or 5 moments that really matter. Moments when you're offered a choice. To make a sacrifice, conquer a flaw, save a friend, spare an enemy.
And here's the thing. Colossus is completely right about movies. Is that how many movies are there where at how many episodes of Star Trek does Captain Kirk say, no, I'm not going to kill him? Someone who he has every single reason to want to kill, and in the end he says, I'm not going to kill him. It is the classic hero's ending. Of course you chose to show mercy and not kill the bad guy.
In these moments, everything else falls away. The way the world sees us. The way we...
And I love that not only does immediately Colossus puke, but he pukes like metal, which they spent a lot of time in design trying to figure out the composition of Colossus vomit.
So good.
Why?
You were droning on. Sure, I may be stuck looking like pepperoni flatbread, but at least fuckface won't heal from that.
He has completed his character. He has saved the girl, saved the love of his life. All that stuff is true, and he is still going to be Deadpool.
Yes. And listen, and I think this is important, and I think that's why people love this character in the comics, because he is irreverent and he fits the hero model for people who think like this.
Yeah.
And they're not caught up in needing to subscribe to the way society says that a mainstream hero should be. You can't, there are many ways you could be heroic and many versions of superheroes. This is this version of a superhero. He's brutal. Yes, he kills his enemy, but he also has a very loving relationship with the woman he cares about. And in essence, for all his sarcasm, he does have a good heart at the center of it, but he's not going to be what you want him to be. He's going to be himself. So take him for who he is.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm just a boy about to stand in front of a girl and tell her, what the fuck am I going to tell her?
And at this moment, of course, Vanessa is standing right behind him.
I can't even tell you. I deserve that. That too. No. Maybe not the nethers.
Start talking.
And she's genuinely emotional.
Yeah.
You know, because which is great. Because again, the emotional heart of the movie is the heart of the movie, you know?
Yes.
And they keep it real throughout.
God, she's so good here too, man. She's so good.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. For everything. I'm sorry for leaving. I'm sorry for not cowboying up sooner. It's been a rough couple of years.
Rough!
And she stares at him.
I live in a crack house with a family of 12. Every night we spoon for warmth. Everybody fights for Noelle. She's the fattest. There's nothing that we don't share. Floor space, dental floss, even condoms.
I think her reaction shot is so perfect.
Yeah.
Because what she does is she goes, you can see the wheels turn and go, I see what you're trying to do.
Yes.
And you can also see in her face that's like, it's not quite enough. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
You can't just do this, but you also see her make the decision to accept it. You know?
She does believe him. Yeah.
Well, and that all, I mean, not that he's living in a crack house necessarily with 12 people.
Right.
Yeah.
The sentiment.
Is that, because, well, honestly, this is how you resolve things is that, you know, you're not going to get 100% of the thing that you need from the person. But if they make a serious effort to bring you 80%, you kind of meet them a little bit. You give back a little bit of the 20.
And you got to accept people, right? If you want to have real love. And then she knows that this is Wade's way of trying to like apologize. He's never going to fully say, I'm sorry, but this is by joking about this situation. It's his way of saying he's sorry. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, Wade is all jokes. I mean, there is nothing without them. And she says, she doesn't one-up him, but she says,
so you live in a house.
Which tells him that she's there, you know?
Yeah.
And he comes forward and says,
I should have come and found you sooner. But maybe the guy under this mask, he ain't the same one that you remember.
You mean this mask?
And she reaches up for it, and he resists a little, and she reaches back and starts to take it off, and it's moving. And we are building for the moment that the movie has been setting up, which is the first moment that she sees what he has become. But the movie doesn't give us that moment because from behind, you see there's like some paper on his face and you're going, what the hell is that? And we see her react to it. And then we cut to the reverse and it's the People magazine picture of Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
That he is stapled onto his face.
Onto his face. And she reaches for that and starts to take it off. And we get some jokes about the Band-Aid and she takes it off. And I think her reaction, if she had had no reaction, she said, I love you, whatever, that would have been wrong.
I agree for this movie, 100%.
Yeah. She does react and goes, wow.
She steps back.
Yeah. Because it's a big deal. But then this line is so great because she says,
Hey, after a brief adjustment period and a bunch of drinks, it's a face I'd be happy to sit on.
Oh, the smile on his face too. Because now she's accepted him, and he's accepted her. It's great,
Well, and it's within their relationship. That's what she doesn't go, it's okay, I can live with it. She takes a joke back to their calendar girl year of sex. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like that's part of their relationship.
I'm not the same underneath this suit either.
Super penis.
come on, Wade, language. Young one is present.
Young one is present.
Whereas I am sure Negasonic Teenage Warhead has a way filthier mouth than Colossus does.
And maybe even more experience than Colossus has.
What are you still doing? Get out of here. Go make yourself useful. You. Go be a really big brother to someone. Tell Beast to stop shitting on my lawn. And you, chicken noodle.
Nothing compares to you. Sinead O'Connor, 1990. Sorry.
That's all right. You're cool.
What in the ass? That was not mean.
And now, for the moment I've all been waiting for.
Which is a great line, and they have a big kiss, and we suddenly hear Careless Whisper. And even though he forgot the ammo and everything else, he remembered his phone and had it queued up to the song and says, wham.
Yeah.
See? You don't need to be a superhero to get the girl. The right girl will bring out the hero in you. Now, let's finish this epic wide shot, pull out. There we go, that looks nice. It's gonna be about the only thing that's pulling out tonight. Who doesn't love a happy ending, huh? Until next time, this is your friendly neighborhood pool guy singing, I'm never gonna dance again the way I dance with
We get some fun credits with some unicorn eroticism and some notes of the actors that are hot, and so on. And of course, we're wondering what is going to be the post-credit sequence. Well, what do we get? We get Ferris Bueller. He comes out essentially, and I wonder if it is the same robe that Matthew Broderick wore in Ferris Bueller.
Maybe.
He comes out like the end of Ferris Bueller, giving a similar monologue and says,
You're still here. It's over. Go home. Oh, you're expecting a teaser for Deadpool 2. Well, we don't have that kind of money. We expecting Sam Jackson show up with an eye patch and a saucy little leather number. Go.
we get a little bit more credits, and then he comes back.
But I can tell you one thing, and it's a bit of a secret. For the sequel, we're gonna have Cable. Amazing character. Bionic arm, time travel. We have no idea who we're gonna cast yet, but it could be anybody. Just need a big guy with a flat top. Could be Mel Gibson, Dolph Lundgren, Keira Knightley. She's got range, who knows? Anyway, big secret. Shh. Oh, and don't leave your garbage all lying around. It's a total dick move.
And then he heads out. And that is the end of Deadpool.
I love that as irreverent as he is, even at the end, he's delivering a little bit of a lesson. You don't leave your trash around. It's hilarious. So,
Which, by the way, 100%. Littering is a thing that just pisses me off in any way, particularly in the movie theater. Pick up your shit.
Anybody who's listening to us, and I don't care if you never listen to us again when I say this, if you're the kind of person who leaves trash behind on a theater seat because you're too motherfucking lazy to throw out your own garbage, you should never be allowed back in a movie theater. I hate it when I see it in a movie theater. I just hate it. You know, a strand of popcorn here and there because it fell off your body, sure. But entire buckets of popcorn or drinks or crumpled up wrappers of candy, multiple, like that drives me nuts, man. Drives me nuts.
People who say, well, they pay people to clean that up. Fuck you. To clean up your own shit. Yeah, exactly. I'm right with you. Right with you. Yeah. So we're in post-production. There are over 1,200 digital shots. It's much more than they originally had planned. That's a ton. Of course, as we said, because the main character is behind a mask the whole time, we can do rewrites throughout post, which they did. The marketing is fascinating because they did not get a big marketing budget, but boy, did they use it. All the little goofy, weird Deadpool spots and all sorts of strange little circumstances, not expensive to film, but were hugely popular and were definitely things that got shared on the internet all the time. So the buzz for this movie really built because of not expensive marketing, but really smart marketing.
Sometimes that makes the difference, you know?
It's released on March 12th, 2016. It has a record-breaking opening movie weekend. It is the highest-grossing X-Men film at that time, which is kind of amazing. It was the highest-grossing R-rated film at that time, $782 million worldwide against a $57 million budget.
Good God almighty.
It was not nominated for any Oscars, but I wanted to mention because the ones I looked at because I was curious about were screenplay and actor because I actually think Ryan Reynolds playing Deadpool is amazing. So here are the people nominated for actor. Andrew Garfield for Hacksaw Ridge, Ryan Gosling for La La Land, Viggo Mortensen for Captain Fantastic, Denzel Washington for Fences, and Casey Affleck wins for Manchester by the Sea. I'd put Ryan Reynolds in that list.
Who would you remove, though?
So I have never seen Hacksaw Ridge, actually.
Oh,
I hear it's great.
It is. He's good in it. He's great in it.
Don't tell Mance, but I don't love La La Land as much as everybody else does.
Well,
I think Ryan Gosling is really good, but I'd rather watch Deadpool.
I 100% agree with you. I think Ryan Reynolds over Ryan Gosling in that movie, 1,000%. Or even over Viggo in Captain Fantastic. It's a fine film, but there's nothing Viggo does in that movie that I haven't seen Viggo do in other movies. So, yeah.
I mean, that is not, looking at that, there are lists where you go like, oh my God, that is a spectacular competition for Best Actor. This one is not one of them. And the same thing for screenplay. Screenplay, the nominees are Arrival, Fences, Hidden Figures, Lion, and Moonlight, which won.
Interesting. Okay.
Anyway, just something to think about. Got a couple more questions from our patrons before we wrap up.
Okay.
This is from Michael Gulick, who says, Tim Miller is the director of the film, but how much of the success and fun of the film do you feel is because of his involvement versus Ryan Reynolds, given how hands-on the star was reportedly with production and Tim Miller's ouster? So what are your thoughts?
Well, I would say the reason the film works technically is because of Tim Miller. And the way there's no way you make this film as good as it is on the tight budget that they were on without the expertise and technical know-how for special effects that Tim Miller had. And this was his theatrical debut as a director. And I tell you, it's a pretty fantastic debut. But I think the humor, the script, all of that, look, Wernick and Reese are great writers. So you watch the Zombieland films, they're amazing in those Zombieland films. And no one's going, Jesse Eisenberg was hands-on with this stuff. So I think Ryan understood the character. I think he knew Rob Liefeld and him and had conversations. So I do think Ryan was essential, obviously, to bring this character to life. But I do think Reese and Wernick are great writers. I think Tim Miller did a damn good job directing this film. So I think everybody is involved in making this a success. And the comedy side of things, I can't just go, well, because Ryan was hands-on, it came out really well. No, he was working with two really good writers who have a track record of writing funny stuff with serious stakes in them as well. So I think it was a combination of everybody's talent coming together. I just think the hype machine for Ryan Reynolds was in full force. And we've seen now 10 years later how that hype machine works for him for sure. So, I temper my feelings about it through a different perspective now. So, yeah.
I agree with all of that. And I think, people have such a strong desire to go like, well, there's got to be one person who's really responsible. And that is not what filmmaking is. And the fact is you can have the greatest, perfect, clearest vision in your head of what you want the movie to be, which you probably don't. But let's say that you do. If you don't have the technical knowledge and logistical ability and leadership skills to make that happen, it will not come on the screen. And you can have the best technical knowledge and leadership skills and have no vision of what the film could be. And you can make a movie, but that doesn't mean you can make a great movie because you need all these parts. There are all these people working really hard and it worked together to make a great film. There's no way this movie happens without Tim Miller, and there's no way this movie happens with Ryan Reynolds or the writers. Without or the right casting. There's a whole bunch of stuff that happened to go right.
Yeah, and it's funny, Steve, you never hear, well, if Ryan hadn't suggested these 10 other stupid jokes, if we had taken it, we would have ruined the movie. Like, you never hear about the person suggesting jokes that didn't work. It's always the jokes that did work, so to speak.
And I'm certain Ryan came up with 100 jokes that didn't work.
Yes.
Because that's how you find the ones that do work.
Exactly. Exactly.
Our second question comes from Jack Hughes, who says, I'm curious about your thoughts since Marvel and comic book movies aren't quite what they used to be. What should studios and filmmakers take away from the original Deadpool as they try to recapture the magic of comic book movies from the 2010s?
Nothing. I would say nothing, because Deadpool is its own singular thing. And you cannot make Deadpool X-Men, and you cannot make Deadpool Avengers. You cannot make Deadpool. Deadpool exists in its own way, singularly, and you must respect that. So if you're saying, well, what can they learn from this film? I guess I would say good writing, great direction, and casting correctly are essential to making a great superhero movie, but you knew that already. But Deadpool is so singularly itself. I think there's a reason they haven't been able to recapture the magic with either of the two installments, and it's because this was an anomaly, and it should be revered as such and respected as such and cherished as such. I don't think it provides the blueprint in any way that you couldn't see in any other superhero movie that was really good, you know?
So I am going to agree with you by disagreeing with you, or disagree with you by agreeing with you, which is, yes, I think that Deadpool is singular, and I definitely think the solution is not to copy Deadpool, because Deadpool is singular. But you remember when we did our sort of dividing up the MCU movies into great, good, middling, and ugly, and my theory about the great ones was that they were really fell into two categories. One is that they really service the MCU in bringing like Civil War, like Infinity War and Endgame, where they did this incredible hat trick of bringing all of these things together and paying them all off. That's one thing. But the other ones were the singular vision of interesting directors with an interesting take. Guardians of the Galaxy is also singular. Black Panther is singular. Captain America and Winter Soldier is singular. So to me, the lesson is, yes, Deadpool is singular. You cannot copy that. You have to make your own movie. The movie has to work on its own. It cannot be like there's so much where people are trying to run before they catch the ball to provide all of these things into the giant structure of the Marvel story or whatever. It's like, no, you have to do this movie about this character, and it has to be singular in the way, not in the way Deadpool is singular, but it has to be its own thing. Like you have to bring your own thing to it. That's my answer to that.
Yeah, 100%.
We've reached final thoughts, and I'll go first because I don't have a lot to say, because I just really like this movie, and I love breaking the fourth wall. I love jokes that don't have restraint, that say, yeah, we can joke. We can make Judy Blume jokes. We can make jokes about sex and masturbation and violence and all of that stuff, and actually be a good-hearted movie in its very, very strange way and capture something totally unique. So I have so much fun watching this movie, and there are movies we do where I don't want to see them for a while. Deadpool I could watch tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it's great to revisit a film 10 years later and know that it still holds up. And that's what I would say. I think that's the great thing about doing the film this time around, is that it's still as good as I remember it being back then, and even more so now, because we've had so many, as the recent person who asked our question there, we've had so many stumbles and trips and falls in the superhero world over these last 10 years, that it makes films like this that really got it right all the more precious, all the more amazing, and treasures that we can go back to and enjoy over and over and over again. And you're catching Ryan Reynolds right at, I think, the beginning of Ryan Reynolds' prime, where he really understands the power of his comedy, he understands the power of his delivery, and the power to mix that in with his kindness and his warmth and his charm, all working together for this movie. And it makes so much sense. And it's great to know that you can make an R-rated, irreverent movie that has heart to it without getting caught up in the things that you're supposed to do or not do when showing a superhero in a movie. So I love it for that. I love it for Tim Miller, who's a fantastic director. I enjoy his work a lot. And I think it just is great that it knocked it out of the park, and we can still appreciate it all these years later. And have fun with it. And as you said, Steve, it's eminently rewatchable, which makes it even more of a great accomplishment by everyone involved.
Agreed 100%. So that's what we think of Deadpool. Of course, we'd love to hear your thoughts. If you want to visit us on social media, go to Facebook and do a search for The Cine-Files, or Twitter, where it's Cine_Files. Instagram, it's The Cine-Files Podcast. If you want to find me, it's SR Morris on Twitter. And of course, you can subscribe to the show at all the usual places. You can support us at patreon.com/The Cine-Files, or on Apple Podcasts, where you can get ad-free versions of the show. You can also listen to our Cine-Files shorts. And of course, on Patreon, you can join our advisory board. John, how would folks find you?
Yeah, you can always find me at The Rocha Says on social media. Then head on over to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/John Rocha Says, where we talk all things going on in the world of entertainment with the Geek Buddies, the Hot Mic, the Jedi Way, Spill the Tequila, my show, The Truth, and my reactions and reviews as well. So thank you so much.
And I think that's it for this week. We will be back next week for a very exciting film right here on The Cine-Files.